We watch every team every weekend find ways to get their hands into their playmakers. Terry McLaurin is a playmaker, okay? When you know the ball's going to him, he still catches it. So David Blough has come in, and he feels like he wants to flip the offense and get the ball in Terry's hands. Who's pissed about that? Not me.
I can't imagine anybody.
I'm thrilled.
So David Harrison asked a good question of Blough in an interview, and Blough said explicitly, this thing's going to be built around how do we get Terry 10 targets a game and get him explosive receptions after explosive receptions to flip the field. And I think I'm looking at an article from SI. And what's weird, Joanne Cooley wrote this. So shout out to Joanne. Over the last 2 seasons, so the Jaden Daniels era, right? And this is only in games Terry played in. We understand he missed a bunch of time this past year, but he didn't in 24. Terry was only targeted more than 10 times 4 games in the last 2 years. And in 9 games, he was targeted fewer than 5 times. So early on in the Cliff Jaden Terry era, it was really apparent that Terry wasn't getting the looks. They were only lining him up on the left side. They opened that up a little as the season went on. Obviously, Jaden and Terry kind of had that breakthrough in Cincinnati in the Monday night game where, Terry made that incredible catch to get to what ended up being the game-winning score. Jaden played phenomenal. I think if you look at where David Blough has been, Minnesota, Detroit, like those offenses make sure they get the ball to their top receiver, especially Minnesota, where he was a practice squad quarterback for a while.
Yeah.
And I think Justin Jefferson, they're like, all right, we got to get it to him. We got to do this. And more importantly, you've got to have explosive plays in your offense.
Yeah.
And the way it looks right now, I think maybe you can count on Bill for some explosiveness, but Terry is by a mile your most explosive player.
Hell yeah.
And so for Blough, do you see any downside to an increased emphasis on getting Terry targets?
Hell no. No. Because let's be real. If you throw the ball to him late in the game when everybody know you're going to go to him and he catches the ball, he comes up with plays, why not throw it to him early in the game? Don't wait till you have to be forced to do it. Do it consistently. Then at the end, it's a lot easier for everybody. Not just him, the quarterback, and the other receivers as well. But if you don't throw him the ball all the time, you line him up in the same spot, you make it easy for a defense to cover him, to take him out of a game.
Right. Looking at Terry's game logs, it's really interesting how many games he would have with just barely any use. Last year's kind of difficult because there was the injury, right? But like in the opener against the Giants, he had 4 targets and 2 catches. It wasn't until, now granted, he missed some time, but the Denver game is where he had his first and only double-digit target game. Honestly, that Denver game, I guess the best Washington played last year was the Chargers win. Denver game might have been their second best game on the year. I know they lost in overtime, but they played pretty well. Terry had 7 catches for 96 yards with a touchdown in that game. If you go back to 24, when the offense was really cooking, right?
Mm-hmm.
In that game, in that season, this is pretty remarkable. Terry played all 17 regular season games in 24.
All right.
How many double-digit target games do you think he had?
In 2024?
Yeah.
Double-digit target games? 2 or 3?
3. He had 10 targets against the Cardinals week 4. We were out in Arizona for that. He had 10 targets against the Saints, a very narrow win late in the season. And he had 12 targets in the season finale against Dallas. That was with that offense functioning at a really high level.
Mm-hmm.
But there were some games where it was, against the Giants, week 9, he had 3 targets 2 catches for 19 yards. Against the Eagles, the loss in Philly, 2 targets, 1 catch, 10 yards. He is your most explosive player, and I think get him involved early in games.
That's what I'm saying. If you get him involved early, you know what happens? See, Terry has proven he can still catch the ball when he's doubled. But you get him involved early now, and then the other guys start cooking, then they have to spread it out and play more conservative. They have to play more straight up. If he can get balls when he's doubled, he's gonna eat people alive when he's singled up with them. And then the other guys have gotten involved, so now you put a strain on a damn defense. You know, listen, I would hear stuff and okay, whatever. But I watch every other team do it the way we're talking about right now. And if the other teams are doing like we're talking about and they're having that level of success, then maybe we should have been trying it sooner. But we didn't. Now we have someone that's saying, we'll do the same things.
Totally, man. It's interesting. If you look at, I don't know what's up with my voice.
It's like that every day, Jay.
Yeah, you're probably right. But even in 2024, when Terry had a really good, strong season, the target count compared to other receivers doesn't come close. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not going to include Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, because those dudes maybe just exist on another planet.
But they get opportunity after opportunity.
Right. So Terry McLaurin ended the season 15th in the NFL. This is 2024. 13 touchdowns, 82 catches, 1,096 yards, right? Mm-hmm. He played in all 17 games. He had 117 targets. Jackson Smith and Jigba, so only 3 slots higher. Jackson Smith and Jigba in 24, not talking about this past year. Mm-hmm. In 24, finished with 1,130 yards on 137 targets. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe you think CeeDee Lamb is significantly better than Terry. I don't know. 2 years ago, though, CeeDee Lamb in 15 games had 152 targets.
Yeah. But see, my thing is this, Jay. If Terry is throwing the ball the same amount of times as most of those other guys, he could put up those type of numbers. If he's doing what he's doing with less targets, can you imagine?
The 2 players that David Blough had direct exposure to in Minnesota, Justin Jefferson got 154 targets in 17 games. Amon-Ra St. Brown in Detroit had 141 targets in 17 games.
Okay.
That is just so significantly more attempts in the offense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't know that Terry's target share jumps that much. But, I mean, in his career, I wonder if they track career targets. In his career, in 2023, so that was Bieniemy calling the offense, right? They passed a lot. Mm-hmm. 132 targets is about the peak of the. What's interesting is the Ron era. Terry was getting the most targets of his career. That was Scott Turner.
Yeah, it was Scott.
EB. If the plan is really to get Terry 10 targets a game, I don't think people should find fault in that. Like, if people are like, oh, you're going to target a 31-year-old receiver 10 times, like, if he's making plays, who cares?
Nobody cares, bro. I mean, if he's making, like, no one cares about your age when you're making plays. People just care about your age when you have a bad game or somebody, and one person brings it up and then everybody begin to push it. If you have a great game, they don't say anything. They just gloss over it.
Looking at, I mean, Keenan Allen last year for the Chargers. Keenan Allen, when you start to add up the numbers, he might be like a future Hall of Famer. I don't know that he is, but like he's going to have a lot of numbers at the end of the season. Keenan Allen had 122 targets last year in L.A. Mm-hmm. He's 33.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson, this speaks to me to the quarterback play in Minnesota. Justin Jefferson had 141 targets last year. Now, B, you tell me if you agree with me. I think Justin Jefferson is a pretty darn good receiver.
Hell yeah.
If you give Jefferson a chance, I think he's generally going to make plays.
Totally.
He had 84 catches on 141 targets. I'm not sure how good some of those looks were.
Yeah.
If you're telling me he's only catching about 60% of the passes thrown his way,